when I describe myself as an aggressive constitutionalist, that means that I believe in the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, liberty and freedom and justice. And I've studied history. I've studied the writings of the Founding Fathers. And it's clear you need to aggressively defend liberty and freedom or you'll lose it. I mean, how many times did George Washington and Thomas Jefferson say that? And so that's why I describe myself as an aggressive constitutionalist. People try to describe me as a libertarian, and I do agree with a lot of libertarian ideas and thoughts. But again, that is another label that the media can twist and stereotype. I really am somebody who believes in limited government, private property, and freedom, and the Bill of Rights and Constitution. So that's why I describe myself as an aggressive constitutionalist, is because I aggressively defend the Bill of Rights and Constitution. Because as Barry Goldwater said, extremism in defense of liberty is no vice. My entire work is about shattering the left-right paradigm. 150 years ago, people didn't talk about left or right. They talked about freedom versus tyranny, and tyranny in all its forms, and how the people, as populists, need to take control of their own destiny by controlling their governments. And so I describe myself as a follower of the Magna Carta, of the Declaration of Independence, the Bill of Rights, and Constitution. The left-right system is a way to artificially divide the people and play them off against each other, while the real power structure continues on with their policies of world government. And so I'm against the global corporate state, known as the New World Order, that has been set up that uses the left-right paradigm to control the population and to keep the population from ever really having a serious debate. It's the people versus the power structure. It's been like that throughout history. So that's how I describe myself, is someone trying to get the people to open up their minds, to get outside the box, to get outside the whole left-right debate, and really look at the power structure in America and worldwide, and the systemic, continued loss of freedom that we see happening. So I don't describe myself as a right-winger or as a left-winger. Big government enslaves, big government destroys, and big government annihilates the individual. I mean, even with a small government, it's hard for the individual to have liberty and freedom. But if you have a big government, history is conclusive. It always tramples on the weak and empowers the strong. The general public was told, none of this exists, just go to sleep, stand down, let the experts run things. Nobody's going to take your sovereignty. Nobody wants your guns. Nobody wants socialism, which is what the big banks want because they get the lion's share of the money. And then I would actually read the publications put out by the establishment to each other. It wasn't secret, but it was academic, and it was all admitted. And so I said, whoa, there's something going on here. I better learn more about this. The United States has been turned into an engine of global corporate tyranny, and the people see right through it. And they know that their paychecks don't go as far. They know they're losing their jobs, they're getting their hours cut, or they're working 2 or 3 jobs. And they know everywhere they go, there's new fines and fees and regulations and more police squeezing them and more rules. And they know they're being socially engineered into slaves. And they also know the GMO food's killing them. They know the chemicals they put in the water are killing them. They know their neighbors are getting sick and dying all around them. People know we're in a huge eugenics system, and they know we're being killed. The Democrats and Republicans are teamed up together at the leadership levels, sharing power. They do fight with each other over who gets to have the levers of power, but they don't fight with each other over their overall agenda of corporate looting and raping. And they work for the same interest. And so Republicans are playing the part of anti-establishment right now, but as soon as they get into office, the banker bailouts will continue, the Patriot Act will continue, the corporate welfare will continue, the entire agenda will continue, just like Obama broke all of his promises, because they're all bought and paid for by the same people. One of the most common questions I get is, are we inevitably headed towards armed revolution? And my answer is, I certainly hope not, and that's why I'm fighting as hard as I can to educate the public about how they're being manipulated by the false left-right paradigm. But if we are unable to get the government to back off and to convince special interests to take their foot off the gas of tyranny and oppression, it's going to explode. And the system, from all their preparations and all their statements, actually wants it to become violent and wants to use that as the excuse to clamp down and have a real police state in America. And so, no, I don't want armed conflict in this country. And I unfortunately think it's probably going to come to that because the system wants that. And the system's been caught provocateuring and supporting and promoting groups that do that. I support the militia movement, the real militia movement that is in the Constitution and Bill of Rights. And most of the militias that are out there are really good, hardworking people who are concerned about the government and realize the tyrannical threat, and who, a lot of them are former military, who are ready and willing to defend their families, just like the Founding Fathers in 1776 were. There are also some colorful people and some unstable people out there who like to strut around in uniforms, and there are some extremist, nut jobs out there. But 9 times out of 10, when you actually study one of those groups, it's founded and run by feds who are not just infiltrating a group, they go out and create them and try to get them to do something radical so that they can then demonize the general movement of citizens being armed. So I support the militia 100% because it's in the Constitution, it's in the Bill of Rights, it's the Second Amendment. But the media has created a distorted image of what the militia is so that they can try to demonize the entire idea of it. But the media tries to scare us with the militia. They're going to get us. They're terrorists. They're working with extremists. Oh my gosh, they're so horrible.